Welcome back, guys. We're going to take this new master cylinder and put it on this Chevrolet Blazer here. It's a 2004 model. That's an Amazon special there, so I'm not sure if it's going to be great or not. Lights. I know you see these lights right here on the internet. Man, these things are actually pretty good. I have to say, I'm very impressed with how bright they are. I mean, it really helps. It's a very hands-free device. I actually like the light. I got it as a gift, and it's nice. If you get a chance, they're cheap. You might want to get one. Not paid, not sponsorship. I'm just saying, hey, it works pretty good. Anyway, so this truck's been having some brake issues. Fill up the brake reservoir, master cylinder, and a few days later it'd be completely dry. No remnants. You can't find any of the fluid anywhere. Park it on a good clean surface and it's still just like it's just disappearing. It's vanishing. But I did notice underneath the master cylinder here on the truck, which is, you're not going to be able to see it here on this video, but underneath here I noticed some rust. And the way the pedal feels and how everything has been acting, I'm pretty certain that this is our problem. So I'm going to switch this out. It's going to suck, but I'm going to switch this out. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to get on film or what I'm not going to get on film. But we're going to take this one off and put the new one on. I'm going to bench bleed it real quick. I might take a little video of that, show you how I do it. And yeah, we're going to swap this out, and then I'll wait on Deb to get home and see if she'll help me bleed these brakes. Stick with me. Alright, I don't know how much of this you're going to actually be able to see. I don't know how much of this I'm going to be able to record, but I'm going to try. I don't have a vise here, so which sucks. It's going to make this a lot harder than what it should be. But you don't want to use anything but a piece of wood when you're trying to bench bleed these things. I see people use screwdrivers and things, but you can really screw this thing up. And follow the directions in your packaging. There's a lot of great videos online about doing this. Like I said, I don't have a vise, so I don't know exactly how much I'm going to be able to do here. I have a vise, just not here. And so I'm going to try to bench bleed it. Now this thing came with two inserts, rubber inserts here, but it also came with these two plastic pieces. So I took the rubber inserts out, put these in, only hand tight, did it with my fingers. If you over tighten them, they're worthless. So you want it tight enough to where you're not sucking air back in, but you want them loose, or not over tighten them to where you can't, where they'll strip out and then you're in the same boat, you're getting air here. The whole idea is to keep this from getting air back through into the reservoir. Think of it like a straw. Put your finger over in the straw, pull fluid up, you're holding fluid in the straw, move your finger, fluid comes out. This is your finger over the straw. Air can't get back in here, it all has to come up here, so the bubbles and the air that's in the system have to come out the top. That's the idea. You don't want to just get crazy. If you do put this in a vise, don't clamp this area here. Do not clamp the bore area. You'll screw it up. This one in particular is DO23. That is correct for, it's correct for the application here. So always recommend using brand new brake fluid. So what I do is I'm just going to fill this thing up to the full line. If I can see the full line. Okay. I'm going to try to do this to where you can see with a little bit of what I'm doing. Like right now, even looking in here right now, after just pouring it in, I can already see some bubbles coming up. I'm just going to balance this thing. I'm using an old drumstick here. You can use, a piece of wood is preferable. I don't like doing it very fast. I don't think it helps. And there's definitely air bubbles coming out while I'm pressing this. I'm gonna try to get you a shot of it. Hope you can see the bubbles or not, but we're definitely getting air out of that. There we go. Anyway, I'm gonna finish doing this, and I'll check back with you when I get it done. Before I go though, short strokes on this is the best. And you don't want to over push this. Follow your directions in your packaging, because you can mess these master cylinders up. So be careful and take your time, you know, and so you don't do that. You know, if in doubt, refer back to your paperwork and follow those directions. All right, you have 2 nuts holding on the brake master cylinder. I've already did the bench bleed on the new one. I think I've got all the air out. Wow, that bad boy's on there. I don't know. Filming this might be a chore, guys. I don't know. It might be too much for me. Not real sure you're gonna be able to see anything I'm doing actually, but got one nut broke loose, but this other one's giving me fits. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect the vacuum line. Maybe that'll give me a little more room to get on the nut. You guys probably aren't seeing anything I'm doing, but I promise it's not because I don't want to show you. All right, finally got those broke loose. Not want to cooperate. Maybe everything will work for me instead of against me. About getting these. Really? Don't fall all the way down there. All right, we're gonna give her a shot. I have the parking brake set here. And I really don't want to get a lot of air in the lines if I can avoid it, but I'm gonna be honest with you, this truck's been sitting up a while. It's been having brake issues for a while. I have a feeling we're gonna have a ton of air anyway. All right, we have the old master cylinder off. We're gonna attempt to put the new one on. Let's see what happens here, I guess. Get the line on. Alright, got the lines on, be right back. We've changed the master cylinder here on this 2004 Chevrolet Blazer. But if you'll look here, I don't know if you can see it, I want to try to light it up best I can. after we did this, and if you'll recall, I told you this truck had been setting up for quite a while, and it was, the master cylinder was bad. It was leaking out of the back seal on the master cylinder. But we put the new master cylinder on and gave her a few pumps, and I heard a big squishing noise. I'm like, what the heck? And we have a leak right there in the brake line. You definitely want to check your specific vehicle. But this truck has 1/4 inch main brake line here instead of 3/16, which they'll try to sell you. So, you know, check yours before you go to the parts store. Anyway, I haven't recorded a lot because the editing process of getting rid of all the cussing that I've been doing would be just overwhelming. Because it's kind of hard to get to all this stuff on here. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a patch job. We're going to take this line off, and I'm going to cut it somewhere in here and form in a new piece. It won't be perfect, I'm sure, but we're going to try to form in a new piece of line and get this thing put back together and get it out of my driveway. Maybe. Stick with us. Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and give you this too. On this line where it goes back in here and hooks on, it is a 9/16 line wrench is what I'm using to get this off. Anyway, I'm gonna probably turn the camera off so I can cuss a little more, and I'll be back with you, and I'm gonna keep saying yeah, I'll be right back. All right guys, I finally got that line broke loose, and I don't like to use the word hate a lot, but this is just hateful. It's a hateful job. They put a zip tie here, of course, in the most stupid spot that you could put one. I don't understand it. And I got the dullest pocket knife this side of the Pecos. Obviously. I say obviously a lot too, huh? Anyway, there's the brake line loose. This goes back over the back side, over the rail, over the frame. It just goes straight down in it. So these bends are pretty important. You're gonna have to have them pretty close for these things to work. The hole's right here, and I was gonna just try to do a little patch job over this area, but the problem is, first of all, it's pretty rusty, and I don't want to do that. And it's rusted all the way down, but this type of braid that's on here it's not going to allow me to cut it off here and just add in a small piece. I'm going to have to go ahead and change it from here up, which is probably a better idea anyway. The other line does not seem to be leaking. I'm hoping by stopping this that'll last a while. Yeah, not my truck. Trying to do it on the cheap, as cheap as we can, but still be safe. So I'm going to go ahead and get this, and I'm going to pull this line out. Be careful not to bend it and kink it. And then I'm going to take this little cutter here, and I'm going to cut this line off right here, and then begin forming the new one. Hang in there. All right, I thought I'd go ahead and show you this again real quick so you can get an idea of how this line is. And the rust spot, here's our hole. Like I said, these ribs here, but this little cutter here, I went to the back side of where this flexible part is, and I was going to try to go back here so it would fit back into its original rail, but the problem is I don't think I can get my tool this far back to flare the end. I'm going to have to do it out here where I have some room. So that's what we're doing here. Like I said, be careful not to kink this line. Basically, if you've never used one of these cutters before, you just tighten it down a little bit and get it snug, and make a round, and then tighten it a little more, and so on and so forth. And it sometimes helps to go different direction. You know, spin one way, snug it up, spin the other way. And you know, you want a clean cut here if you can get it. That's really the main thing. You really want a clean cut, and you want it to be square. So just take your time, Anyway, I'm gonna need 2 hands so I can do this properly, but you get the idea. All right, guys, used the cutter there, worked out great. Just took my time, got the line off. So here's the old line. Like I said, this is 1/4 inch line here. Your vehicle might be different, but I know they try to push the 3/16 line off on everybody at the parts store, which I guess a lot of them use it. This one in particular, though, is not. It is 1/4 inch, so you want to know that before you go. And believe it or not, it's kind of hard to find some of this information and be certain just by looking online. So, you know, good luck doing your research on that. And here's another thing I ran into on this project, which I found to be very odd. Just kind of fill you guys in here if you can see it. Okay, this union right here, finding that union was extremely difficult. And yeah, this union here, I went to 3 different parts stores. We searched through everything just to find this. So keep that in mind too if you're going to do this project. I would suggest, honestly, if I were you and you were going to tackle some job like this, unless you just needed that vehicle going immediately, I think that I would research exactly what you need and probably order it and do it that way. I think that you would be better off. And when I say ordering it, I'm talking about just getting however long of a piece you need and all that stuff. They do sell kits for these trucks where you can replace it with a factory fitted line. The way that these brake lines are run on the frame, I don't know how. It would be a difficult job. I'll just say that. It would be a very difficult job to feed the old one out and put a new one in, I think. So, you know, just inspect your current vehicle and what you're doing. Bought an extra piece of 1/4 inch pipe, stainless steel brake line, because we couldn't find another fitting. So, I mean, it's weird, but a lot of stuff is hard to get right now. But I would actually check in all this before you do the project. If you need your truck immediately, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But if you have time to think ahead and order ahead, highly recommend doing it. You're going to be better off, and it might save you a whole day of running around town like I've been doing. Sorry for the lighting, guys. I know it's dark out here, but it's been raining really bad, so I'm having to try to stay covered. And my LED lights that I'm using to actually see what I'm doing are showing up as flashing lights on the camera. So doing the best I can. Is why I'm not being able to film every single detail of everything I'm doing, but I'm trying to bring you in and let you see what's happening. But you can see all the rust here. I mean, we're in the South here. We don't have rust like this typically. You might see rust like this if a vehicle's been sitting on the ground, you know, for years in the middle of a field or something. But this is from the corrosion from brake fluid. So when they tell you guys, hey, you know, it's a really corrosive thing, it is. This thing's been leaking for a while, and unknown to my dad and unknown to me. But look at this. I mean, it's just done a number on it. Hopefully we have enough line here out to where I can get my tool on here, and we'll clean this up, get it flared. And you can hear the rain starting right now. So I guess we'll have to put this off a little longer, but that's what we're gonna do here, try to reform that line. I'll show you that after I get it done, and I'm gonna try to put this thing back together and try to move on to the next thing we have going, because we do have several more things to do to this truck. And yeah, so I'll be right back with you. All right, guys, I've been battling rain. As you can tell, everything's wet. All right, I have the new union here. I didn't show all the details on all this, guys. I'm trying to get this done. I'm working in the rain, but I did want to get a video out to you and just show you a little bit of the process. Used the flaring tool from the O'Reilly's. Went and rented it. Their rental tool program is top notch, guys. So if you need a tool and you don't want to spend money on something you probably won't ever use again, the rental tool program is a great way to do it. But here I've got this union here, and I've kind of bent my line along with the other line. Let me grab it. This is the old line, and you can see how I cut it off here in here. And what I did was, before I cut this off, when I took it out of the truck, I only had this one end that was cut off. And I took this and I took the new piece of 1/4 inch brake line and just kind of molded it to this to get it really as close as I could. It's not going to be exact. I mean, you have to have a bending tool and all that, and I don't have that stuff, so exact is not as important as getting it close enough to where it's going to ride in a decent spot. But I also had to do this in a way that I could get wrenches on the new unions that I made, so I can actually tighten these things up, and you can visually inspect them. So you have one there and one there. What this was going to allow me to do by adding this extra, I could have gone ahead, which would have been better to leave this a solid piece and come around and go down as one solid piece. Definitely would have been better. The problem I was running into, though, doing it that way, is the way that this bent down. I could not, just because of the location it is in there, I could not get a good bead on exactly how it was going to go in, even though I was using that other as a mold. It's kind of hard to explain, but this right here should work fine. It does have access to where I'm going to be able to tighten these things up. I'm going to be able to keep a check on them, and it should be fine. So just kind of wanted to give you guys an update, and I'll be back to you when I get this line tightened up and give you another look at it. All right, guys, back after another pain in the butt. I'm getting that thing put on. This brake line job was a lot more than, it's just hateful. It's one of those things that's just absolutely hateful. I'm gonna have to go ahead and do some more tightening here. But man, that's just all there is to it. It's hateful. But there's a line in place. Been kind of letting it drip this on purpose here, just to try to get a little bit of fluid back in the line. But I'm gonna tighten this stuff up and then call this one done, I hope. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. We are gonna pack it up and send it down the road. My brother's gonna come over tomorrow. We're gonna try to bleed the brakes. I'm sure if you want to see something like that, you can find that video anywhere on YouTube, a million times over. There is something I want to point out, though. I have been, from a little bit of research I've been able to do, there's a possibility that this brake job might not be able to get all the air out of the system. I've read where there's a possibility there could be air lodged somewhere into the ABS system, and that it's a dealer situation where they have to pump it down. I'm going to call the dealer tomorrow and find out. I'm not going to put this truck back on the road if it's not safe, but we're going to do a regular bleeding process and get all of it out we can. We'll call the dealer, and if it needs to go there to get pumped, that's what we're going to do. You got to be safe when we're dealing with stuff like that. I do appreciate you guys liking, subscribing, and hanging in there. I know it's been a while since I've had a video out, but there's more coming. We're going to get back on that 79 Ford and see if we can't get it running pretty quick here. Finally got it. There's another video that should be out in the next couple of days, working on that carburetor. But anyway, thank you guys for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Leave comments below. I like to read them. I try to respond to everybody. If you want to see more videos like a brake job, let me know. If you do, then I'll start doing that too. Appreciate you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks.